Brace yourself, my sisters. Here we go. Welcome to Call for Wisdom. And today I'm going to talk to you and me and all of those who believe in Yah. I'm going to ask you, women, sisters, is it possible, biblically, truly, really, for a man to cheat on you, your husband to cheat on you? Is it biblically, truly, really, really, I swear, really, that kind of thing on the Bible, when they put confession at the court, like you're testifying against a man that he has cheated on you? The answer to that question coming up, because here we go. I'm going to show you a lady who's going to accuse that. We know how it goes. We know how it goes, but we're going to listen to it anyway. So there we go. Listen to what she has to say. Listen, pull out your Bible, pull up your theology about that, and let's go at it.
Years, had been having an affair last April.
Mm-hmm.
At the time it came out, he
Good.
at the time it came out,
Let's
he
start from the beginning of her story. Here
I
we go.
discovered my husband of 27 years had been having an affair last April. At the time it came out, he told me that it had been going on for 3 years. We immediately began marriage counseling. After a few months of this, 2 more past affairs trickled out, as well as multiple online hookups and texting relationships. He told me that everything had been disclosed and promised he would never lie to me again. Wrote new marriage vows to me and everything. Fast forward to 3 months ago. He provided an additional disclosure of 3 other affairs. My confusion is about the causation, since these affairs were over the course of our whole marriage.
Mm.
Some were coworkers, some were random women on the internet, some had full-blown relationships with,
Okay.
and I don't see any continuity in terms of the type of cheating, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And why does he want to write new marriage vows saying that he'll never lie to me again when he clearly is still lying to me?
Mm-hmm.
Any insights you might have are appreciated.
Well, you're welcome. I will give you some insights because you're at the right spot. We are in call for wisdom where insights galore. But let's talk seriously, my sisters, about this concept of a man being able to cheat on you. So you heard the story, right? And you probably lived the story. And if you didn't live the story, you know sisters, you know aunts, you know girlfriends who have done it. And usually it's not even like 20 years. Maybe it's just 1 year together or 1 month together. And he has already gone and saw another beautiful woman and had an affair, you say, with her. Mm? And when you found out about that, you opened your mouth and you said, he committed adultery on you. He cheated on you. And then the emotional stress comes along, the crying, the victim mentality, because he stabbed you in the heart. And I'm not saying this jokingly because I understand how that feels. When you believe this lie that it is possible for a man to cheat on you, a man being your husband, right? And you feel like he stabbed you in the heart and you can't even breathe the first time you heard it. And you feel like your marriage was all a lie and your relationship was all a lie. Because how can he say he loved me and do this to me? Like, how can he say he loves me and do this to me? Doesn't he know how much it hurts to see him in the arms of some other woman? And did he not care? And was it all a lie? Like, was this whole relationship a sham? And then you start calling him a liar, and you have now turned on, if you have forgiven him, but you have now turned on the monogamy only police. You've called yourself that, and now you're enforcer of it. So now every time you see his phone, he's at the shower, and you're like, oh, goodness, let me see who this cheating pastor is looking at right now because, oh my goodness. Oh, he did not say that to her. He said, good morning, sweetheart. Oh my goodness, this cheater, he is just cheating on me all the time through text messages, through voicemail. And when he disappears, he says he's going to go for milk and he comes back at 12 at night, right? or he sleeps over somewhere else. And every time he comes back home, he smells like another perfume. We call ourselves, like, we have instincts, we say as women. We know when a man is cheating on us. Cheating on us. And again, it's reinforced in the culture because we live in a monogamy only framework in the West, and our culture reinforces it on the sitcoms, in the movies, in the news. It's all over the place. This term cheating on you. I mean, what would soap operas, how would they survive? How would Jerry Springer survive? How would Oprah survive? How would daytime drama survive? How would reality TV survive without the concept of cheating on you, right? Because they feed off of women's emotions, and we're greatly emotional. We become irrational. Like, I'm trying to talk rationally to you, but if you had this experience just yesterday, or you just found out a minute ago, I know your rationality is not on. And matter of fact, you're not watching Call for Wisdom. Okay, you're not watching it. I know, you know. But let's say you calm down and now you're watching it. I'm going to tell you, my sisters, that it's impossible, biblically impossible, for a man to cheat, your husband to cheat on you. And why do I say that? I'm sure you want to find out. Okay, so let's just go back. In order to do this, first of all, put your logic hat on. Okay, tone down on the emotions. Have a glass of water, grab a cup of tea. hmm Let's pull up our Bible, a BLBLE. I'm just going to be reading it on the computer, but you can follow me with your Bible, and I'll give you some quotes. Okay, so let's start with a scenario. Again, you've been married for 20 years, or maybe just 20 minutes. I don't care. You built up a life together. You are connected to the man. You are part of his limb. You have one connection, one marital covenant. We're not talking about, again, certificates of marriage. This is not what I'm about in Call for Wisdom. You have a connection of marriage and union, okay? And you've been together. You find out that your husband has been sleeping with another woman. Not you, obviously. It's about another woman. Let's say he was doing this to a co-worker woman. Like this lady said, that sometimes he had a secretary, call a work wife, or a colleague that he was working close with. He built up a relationship at work with her. She smelled good. You were, you know, not giving it enough. It doesn't matter if you were. If it doesn't matter how perfect you were. Actually, you had nothing to do with this at all. He fell in love with another woman, or he just hit it off with another woman. And let's say this other woman, just to add some spice to this whole scenario, this other woman was actually married. Mhm. Let's say this coworker that your husband just had sex with and had an affair with was actually married. Now, biblically speaking, that is adultery. Absolutely adultery. You want to know that? Because now we're going to go to Leviticus 20, verse 10, and it makes it crystal clear the definition of adultery. It says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So the definition of adultery is having sex for a man, having sex with another man's wife. So obviously the marital status of the woman determines if that is adultery, right? So if your husband went out and had sex with another man's wife, indeed he committed adultery. My question is not whether or not that is adultery, because it obviously is. There's no debate. But here's the real question: did he commit adultery against you? Huh? Or was it really against Yah and the other man, her husband? Because the word says he cheated on you. That's what the world says. He cheated on you. Oh, he cheated on you. But the Bible makes it very clear that the sin there is nothing to do with you. He took what belonged to another man. Think of it this way. Let's take out all the sex part of it. Let's call this beautiful woman a car. Let's call her a Lamborghini. I can't even say the word. Let's call her Toyota because I can't say the word Lamborghini. Let's call her a beautiful Toyota. Okay. So the other woman is a beautiful Toyota, and she's parked outside of another man's house, right? The man owns the house. And your husband here, having a great great time with you, decides that he wants to go over because he wants to do some traveling. And he goes over to his neighbor's house and he takes his neighbor's Toyota. He steals it, right? And he makes the drive, joy drive with it. Your husband left you, went over to the neighbor's house, took his Toyota, and went for a joy drive with it, right? Parks it back, comes back to you. You found out what he did. Did he commit a crime against you? Obviously not. You had nothing to do with it. He committed the crime of stealing his neighbor's car. His neighbor is the one he sinned against, and Yah, because Yah put the command, don't do that. He sinned against Yah and the neighbor. And that's why in Leviticus 20, verse 10, it says, the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress will be put to death. Thank God the death penalty is a different thing we'll talk about later. Obviously, it is a death penalty to commit adultery. Very, 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 very serious. But he didn't commit adultery to you. He did the sin against his neighbor because the wife belonged to the neighbor. It was like his car, like his donkey, like his ox. Remember the 10 Commandments? Don't lust, don't take, don't envy your neighbor's car, donkey, ox. I think that's the 5th commandment. The last one, actually. Yeah. Don't, anything that belongs to the neighbor, slaves, all that, not to touch, don't touch, right? Don't touch. And so when he does this, it's like theft. When the man goes out and steals what belongs to somebody else, he's not stealing anything from you because you don't own the neighbor's wife. Get it? So they have programmers in Western society to accuse men in court, literally in court, of adultery, when it is biblically truly impossible for him to commit adultery against me. He didn't steal anything from me. You don't own the Toyota. You don't own the wife. He didn't take nothing from you. He took it from the other man. Now, if you don't believe me, again, let's go back to David and Bathsheba. Remember that story? Okay, so let's go to King David. You know the story about David. Abigail was one of his wives. He had a wife before. He had Iohim, he had Michal, he had others. Actually, I think he had 15 other wives before Bathsheba came along. I think Bathsheba was his 16th wife. He was a polygynous man. He had many legitimate wives. But one day he saw Bathsheba, beautiful, sexy Bathsheba, who was another man's wife, bathing, yeah, bathing outside. And he called her and he slept with her and he got her pregnant. I mean, he knocked her up while Uriah was out at war. Okay. So the whole story is in the Bible. You got to go there and look at it. And David ended up killing Uriah so he wouldn't find out about the fact that he slept with his wife. And then he thought that was good. He tried to cover up his sin, but he got found out. The prophet Nathan approached him, David, King David, and he told him the story about a rich man stealing a poor man's lamb. So again, the analogy is compared to stealing, just like I said, the analogy compared to stealing of a car. Nathan told David the analogy of stealing a poor man's lamb because he took what belonged to another man when he had a lot of others. Like he took from the poor when he himself had other lambs. And that's the whole story that Nathan was saying. It's like, you have all these other women. Why did you go steal this one man's lamb? Now tell me here, when he did this, my sisters, did he sin against any of the other wives? David had like 15 other wives, right? So in Psalm 51, verse 4, when David was writing that song, that's Psalm 51, verse 4, David finally broke it down for us very clearly. He says in the psalm, against you, who's talking about Yah, you only have I sinned. You only and done this evil in your sight. He didn't say against Abigail. He didn't say against Michal. He didn't say against all the other wives have I sinned. Oh my goodness, I have committed adultery with all my 15 other wives. I've committed adultery against them. He didn't say that because it had nothing to do with the other wives. It had to do with Yah at that point because Uriah was already dead. But anyways, he had committed a sin against Yah, not against the other wives, because it's impossible for a man to cheat on you. on you, commit adultery on you. He can't do that. He's doing this between Yah and between the man he just stole from. He stole from the man and he committed adultery against Yah, right? So against you, David says, you only have I sinned and done this evil in your sight. And notice something, sisters. David didn't say, I sinned against Abigail. I didn't sin against Michal. I didn't sin against wife number 5, 6, 7, 8. No, he acknowledged his sin was against Yah only. And Uriah, right? Obviously, he murdered him. So that was a sin too, but not against his wives. And here's the kicker, not one of David's wives stood up and said, I want a divorce because you cheated on me. You don't hear any of them. Not one of them divorced the man. Not one of them took his kids and took him for half his kingdom. Imagine the divorce court for David if that was the case. Like all 15 wives saying that they're going to file for divorce based on this one. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how does that work anyway? Because wife number one was the first one. So who did he really? Let's not even go there. He didn't. Nobody was involved except David and Uriah and Yah, and he killed Uriah. So against Yah, he killed. He committed adultery, right? Not against his wives, his other wives. So this victim mentality has to stop. This pity party has to stop. I know it hurts. I know you love it. It feels so good to be mad at him. You feel so self-righteous. You feel so superior, morally superior, because the man is a cheating bastard, you say. And you're such a righteous princess that you do, But before you go put yourself higher in superiority, immorality above the man, just think. Did he really sin against you? Because even you hold false testimony, that's also a crime. Actually, it could be a death crime too, by being a false witness, by accusing somebody of something that they didn't do. Biblically, that's a serious crime. So if you're like in the court before you, Yah, our Father, and you're saying your husband has committed a crime against you, where biblically he has not, that, my sisters, is a crime. That is a sin. Okay, but let's move on. So now let's pause here because this is where most of us sisters get tripped. We love the victim thing. We love it. It makes us feel good. But sometimes in us, the cry, we have to let ourselves cry, but we also have to hold on to the truth because love is about the truth. And if you know the Bible, and if you know the truth about the definition of adultery being all about the status of the woman and how you are uniquely attached to him. So in polygyny, this is called for wisdom. I always talk about polygyny, okay? The man having the biblical right to have more than one wife attached to him, more than one covenant, more than one union, he's allowed to. So when the wife number one is attached, like a right arm attached to the body, his head, this is a unique relationship, right? Wife number two, a unique relationship, uniquely attached to the body. He goes out and commits adultery, literally, yeah, but not against you. He committed a crime indeed, but not against you. You have no right to to accuse him of that because he didn't do it against you. You might be disappointed. You might be greatly disappointed because you thought he would, he knew better or he should have done better. You but do you have a right though to justify punishing him for a crime he did not do against you? So when a woman says, I'm going to divorce my husband because he committed adultery against me, that is a fall out lie. Now you're acting like the judge and the executor of a crime he did not do against you. And you're leaving him, which you're not allowed to do biblically anyway, which is another topic. You're not allowed to divorce your husband, okay? Just to let you know that. But you went and you listened to the world and you divorced your husband. You divorced him. Like he can put you away. That's a different story. But you divorced him because you believe the lie that it's possible for a man to cheat on you. And because you think he cheated on you with X, Y, and Z, Missy over there, you feel justified now to take half his assets, to take his children, to withhold sex, to be verbally abusive, to be rude, to look look down on him like he is like the trash, and to have bitterness in your heart, all because of the lie. And you punish this man forever, and you hold this bitterness in you forever, and you're tempted to just destroy everything that you all have built up for the 20 something years because of the lie that he has done this against you. You get me? Now, I want to continue this conversation because we're going to go to the next part. I think I'll try to do that very soon. And we're going to talk about when he commits fornication. And is it possible for him to do it against you? But you kind of get the pattern that I'm trying to say here, right? You kind of get what I'm saying? Hit me up in the chat. Do you think I'm right? Do I think I'm wrong? Give me some scriptures. Let me know. Welcome to Call for Wisdom again. Thanks for hanging out with me. My name is Deborah. It's always a pleasure, my sisters. Just dry up the tears. It's not going to be so bad. Cup of water, some fan, you'll get through it. Really, you'll be fine. I believe so.